All right, cool. We'll go ahead and get started. Welcome again. This is the priority registration workshop. And if you want to go ahead and move on to the next slide, please. Hosted by the FYE team. Next slide. So our workshop goals today, we have 4 main ones, and it's how to assess the SEP, and that's your student educational plan. The majority of you all probably already have one. How to use class schedule and search features. So we'll go ahead and share our screen as well to help you navigate that and make sure it's easiest as possible for you. And we'll be showing you how to register your classes. And there's also links and videos on how to do that if you want to reference to that as well. And lastly, we'll be going over some important reminders on our end, FYE, and also as a whole, Oxnard College will be going over a few important reminders. So the workshop format. So number 1, we wanted you to follow the IG and Y YouTube account to win a free Jersey Mike sub. So if you haven't already, go ahead and follow. That is the Instagram and the YouTube accounts. And like I said, you follow and then you'll be entered in to win a Jersey Mike sub through a raffle. We're going to go ahead and do a brief presentation of everything we mentioned about registering and updates and important information. Will help guide you through it all. Again, we're going to go ahead and have everybody muted during the presentation, and preferably we would like to see your face, but we understand if you can't. And throughout the presentation, if you have important questions, things that just pop up in your mind, go ahead and write them down. And at the very end, we'll have a breakout session or a bigger session for general questions. But if you have specific questions, we'll go ahead and break out with the counselors and myself. So go ahead and just be writing down questions along the way. And counselors will be in a breakout session, like I mentioned, with each student to answer individual or specific questions.
And sorry to interrupt, this is Anna again. I see that not all of you actually had the opportunity to register for this workshop, so I may chat you on the side, so pay attention to the chat so I can get your 900 number because we need that information so that we can better support you through the workshop. Thank you.
Thank you, Anna. Next slide. So SEP, Student Education Plan. We're going to be going over that and how to get to it, how to access it. So first you'll be logging into your portal, then you click on DegreeWorks. It's that little graduation cap icon on the top right. You'll click the Ed Plan, and like I mentioned, we have these blue little underlined words, and that's for you to click on those if you need the additional help on how to access that. And these are some questions that are very popular. What if my SEP is not current? So this is a little tutorial on how to schedule an appointment with the counselor. And also, what about prereqs? So we'll be going over prereqs and co-reqs. Prereqs is a class or sometimes tests that you need to do before taking a course or enrolling in a course, and it won't let you enroll in a course unless you have that prereq done. And co-reqs is also a class that you would need to take along with the class that you want to take. So if that makes any sense, we'll break it down a little bit more, especially with English and math, that co-req is common. And if you have any questions about that, we'll explain a little bit more in detail later. Go ahead. How to use class schedule and build your own. So I was an Oxnard College student myself, and so all of this is pretty familiar for me, but like I know you all are new, and so we're going to be going over this and kind of figuring out strategies and giving you the support or tools to successfully schedule your classes. So you'll be opening up the Oxnard College page for the class schedule. You'll use features to find the best options. You'll build your schedule and write down CRNs of classes you want to register for. So CRN is something you're going to be hearing a lot. It is basically the title or the code for that specific class. So when you go and register for a class, there may be, I don't know, a dozen English 101 classes, but each one has its own CRN, and you'll be using that CRN code for a specific English 101 class that you want to take. And that CRN is what you'll be using to actually register. So it's really, really important to write down the right CRN. You'll use this class schedule worksheet, very useful. So further in this slide, these slides, we're going to be showing you a worksheet that I myself have used, and I find it very, very helpful to plan your schedule and your time and be more organized and make sure that classes aren't overlapping. And like I mentioned, there's going to be areas where you can click on, and it'll help you guide. It'll guide you more if you are a little bit lost. So we have a little example, well, not an example, but we also are offering a course. Anna Garcia, our counselor, will be teaching this course. It's FYE PG 100B class. So PG is, I'm drawing a blank.
Personal growth.
Personal growth.
It's an academic success class.
I did take that class. I was thinking it was like personal something, but it is personal growth. And it's really helpful for you to kind of figure out just that, your personal growth, and seeing what options are available for you, and especially being new to Oxnard College and joining FYE. You may be a little bit hesitant or unfamiliar with certain things, so this is a great class to join, get familiar with campus, get familiar with your own self, and also if more FYE students are a part of this, it gives you an opportunity to bond and create those friendships within a class. This is a Monday class, 11 to 12:50. It's 9 weeks. And that is a CRN number if you are interested in joining Anna Garcia's personal growth class. Anything else you would like to add on to that, Anna?
No, that's all. Just hopefully we'll be able to help continue to build that FYE community in that classroom. So look forward to having some of you in there, hopefully.
So I'll give you a second if you need to write down the CRN. 72906.
Yeah, and it's a short class, so it'll just be 9 weeks versus the regular 18-week semester. And it starts a little after the semester officially starts and ends a little before the full semester ends.
All right, Sean, go ahead. So this is what I was referring to earlier, the class schedule worksheet. This worksheet is super, super helpful to organize the classes that you'll need or you want to take. You know, for instance, there may be 2 English classes that you really want to take, so you write them down and then you figure out, okay, well, one of the classes is overlapping with another class, so you cancel that one out. This is something that really organizes what you want and what you need, but also make sure nothing is overlapping. Also, if you're interested in just going on Tuesdays and Thursdays, this is also a good way to manage that, because there is a time slot section, there's an in-person category where you fill out those things. And for instance, the start date, the units, the time, online or whether the class is in person, your room number, and really important, it's in gray, the CRN number, and of course the class name. Alrighty. Also class schedule time management. Like I've said before, it's really, really helpful to have something like this to really manage your time. And what I've mentioned before is that your classes don't overlap. This is really helpful. And especially if you have other responsibilities, whether it's work or at home, This really allows you the opportunity to manage that time and see what works best for you as a new college student. Go ahead, Sean. Okay, so how to register for classes. If you haven't done this already or navigated this, this is the way to register for classes. You'll be logging into your portal. You'll be clicking register and pay tab. You'll click on the blue register button. Then you will select the term you want to register for. So for instance, today, if you are interested in registering for summer, make sure that you're pressing summer 2020. If you're interested in registering for fall, make sure you're pressing fall 2020. So that way it filters out what classes will pop up when you want to be looking through the classes. Before arriving to the registration page, there's probably going to be a little area where it asks you to complete and update personal information. So make sure you are doing that. And then afterwards, you're able to actually register for the classes, which is entering the CRNs, and make sure you have those jotted down. And next, you'll have to click Save Schedule Changes, and then click Pay Fees and Complete Registration. So once again, if you have trouble with this, there is a link. It's the blue number 8. If you need a review, go ahead and press that. It'll help guide you if you need the additional support. And one of the last things, important reminders, fees and books, financial aid, FAFSA, DREAM Act, CCPG, Oxnard College Promise will cover your tuition for summer classes. So this may take 24 hours to appear in your student account. It's really important to make sure that you're filling all the requirements out. That's one of the things that I've been noticing is FAFSA will be sending you notifications, this requirement is not fulfilled or this document is needed. Go ahead and make sure you are fulfilling those requirements in order to receive your FAFSA, and please allow like about 24 hours for it to appear on your account for things to get cleared. Be sure to complete financial aid forms. So if you need a form and they're asking for one, go ahead and feel free to reach out to the financial aid office at OC. So there are some special programs that cover fees, but otherwise you're responsible for these fees. So for instance, textbooks, you'll be responsible for paying that. FAFSA does not cover directly. FAFSA does not cover that directly. It covers your tuition directly. And please be aware that if your FAFSA and things are not completed or showing complete, it could potentially mean that you'd be dropped for a class for non-payment. So please be aware of that, and reach out to financial aid if there is any issues or discrepancies. And lastly, check out how to search for your textbook videos. This is a video on how to figure out what textbook goes with what class, and then whatever your preference is, whether it's Amazon or renting it, or possibly even asking a friend if they've taken the course. This will help figure out what textbook goes with the certain course that you are taking. Important reminders, classes and your portal. A note about math, summer classes, and classes that have a lab. So summer will be online. Check in with your counselor about your major and whether online classes are acceptable. So for instance, the dental hygiene program, if you are a dental hygiene major, you definitely need to speak to your counselor, because there's certain labs that are not credible by the state because they are online. So I would definitely reach out to a counselor if you are looking into taking a lab, and make sure that that's the right choice for you. And English and math support courses listed as co-requisites. So like I mentioned earlier, co-recs, There's going to be certain English classes that, well, we can probably look at them later after this, but English classes that underneath, it'll say that you need to take another class to go along with that English class. And that's what it means by co-rec, that you need to take both of those classes in order to enroll in that English class. And typically it's a support class. So make sure you're looking at those fine details when you're searching through classes, that those co-requisites are 2 classes that need to be taken together, or you can't take that English class. Same thing for math. There's some math classes that you do need a support class, and you can't enroll in that math class unless you have that support class. So be aware of those things and before registering, because there are some times where a student wants to take a specific English class, they haven't realized that it needs a co-rec, and so they have to change their schedule because that's not really what they wanted. So please be aware as you're looking through English and math. Update your contact phone number and address in your portal. Check your college email regularly. We will not be using personal emails to communicate. So just a personal thing, when I was first in college emails were kind of a new world, and it's really, really important to be on top of your emails. That's the main way, the only way your counselors and your professors are going to be able to communicate and for you to get updates. So it's really, really important to be on your college email and to be sending emails to your professors, your counselors, and anybody else through that student email. And also you can review the BCCD COVID-19 website for any updates. And you can also review the student service updates in that tab, or that little link as well, if you have any, or if you wanted to know the latest updates for student services.
All right, so if those of you who don't know, here's how we can search for classes. So I'm at the Oxnard College EDU website, and I'm gonna go to search all classes. I'm going to look for a class for the fall 2020 year. I'm going to select Oxnard College. You could select any college really. And I'm going to be looking for a an English class. So I just clicked on one, I typed in E and it dropped me down to the E's. Selected this. I'm gonna select classes that are only open because these are classes that I can guaranteed get into. And I'm gonna hit search. And as I scroll down, there's a few things here that I want to take a look at. The first one here is this open class. Down here it says distance education. This means it's going to be an online class. This will not be a class that meets in person. The next thing that I'm going to point out here is this class down here. This is an English 97 class. I should be showing 101. But anyway, this class requires a co-enrollment. So these are the 2 things that Joanna had spoken about. One of these is a distance learning. It's an online class only. The other one, you have to take this other class, and that this would be the CRN for that class that you would want to be signing up for in addition to. So let's go ahead and go to an English 101 class where that's actually happening. Okay, here's one. So I'm gonna click, I can click here on the CRN number. And here it gives me some useful information. It gives me the days and the hours of the class, gives me the room number, gives me the starting and ending date, as well as the full capacity of the class. So this class has 27 people, 27 are available. And then it gives us these other dates, which we hopefully don't want to worry about, but we can always go back here to look at them if we have questions. And if there's no other questions, I'll send you back to your counselors.
Read My Professor, you can look up certain professors and see the ratings that other former students have had. The apps, you kind of get a feel of their style. Usually they'll break down like what their type of style of teaching is and whether that works for you. Maybe they're really direct, or maybe they're really you know, charismatic and easygoing. It'll kind of tell you all that stuff. But I think personally, some of the cons is that there are some negative posts, and it might not necessarily mean that the professor was a bad professor. It just may be from the viewpoint of somebody who just didn't really gel well with that class style or the teacher style. Or maybe it could even come from a negative standpoint of they weren't doing well in the class, so let me rate this professor poorly. So take that into account when you're looking at rating a professor.
I just wanted to let you know, because somebody messaged me privately, because I put a question in the chat, like, how's it going for everyone? Are you able to add your classes? I know that we're here talking to you through it, but we also are here hoping that you add the classes for yourself right now. So that the reason we're having this together is sometimes there's errors in the system, or you may need a counselor to clear a prerequisite or something like that. And I mean, we're trying to like ingrain it in you. You have like prime time to register right now. There's a lot of people waiting behind you. And so what I want to know is that when we leave this this meeting today, that everyone that's here is taken care of and all the classes that you need are squared away, because you might not find that class tomorrow or later in the day, because it is first come, first serve. So while, you know, we're having these conversations, certainly if you have questions, chime in, but also be trying to add these classes and then let us know if stuff isn't working. So in terms of work study, that's a really good option. Sorry to segue so hard. My brain just like squirreled. So the comment about work study is it's basically an opportunity for financial aid. So when you fill out a FAFSA, you can put that you're interested in earning work study. And what makes it different in the like a loan or a grant or a scholarship is that you don't get all the money at once. You get it as you earn it. So what you can do is either the money that you earn, put it back on your student account to pay off, you know, what you owe, or you can use it as extra spending money for yourself. We have jobs on campus where we accept people only that have work study, or we have jobs on campus. Like for example, I do outreach in the schools, and so I'm going to be looking for somebody next year to come work for me. And they just need to be a full-time student, but they don't have to be work study. So if you're like outgoing and like to meet new people and talk to high schoolers and, you know, tell them about your experience, hit me up in the semester. I'm always looking for good help. And then there was a question on the chat about how do summer classes work? I got that private message. Summer classes this summer are going to be exclusively online. So you would have had to also have applied for the summer term. So if you don't have an application, like if we came to your school and helped you work through that, we would have had you go through, fill out an application for summer 2020 and for fall 2020. So if you need any kind of help on that, message me privately and I can help you. I hope that answered the question for the person who asked. Okay, so I got a private question asking if you talk to a counselor and you have your ed plan with you and you know the classes you need to take, what do you have to do to look up those classes and register for them? So we have a video that shows you how to search for the classes. So for example, you need to take an English 101. We're gonna go through, I think Sean was showing us how to search. And you're going to look at all the different English 101 options because there's a ton. And then you're going to pick the one that makes the most sense for like you. So if you only want to go, you know, Tuesday, Thursdays at 3 o'clock, you know, that class. So you know, like what class you need, but it's up to you to pick, you know, the professor, the time, so on and so forth. So the ed plan is that map. So with every single class that you need to do, that you need to take, you're going to look at, if you look at Com 101, all those communication classes, pick the one that makes the most sense. And you want to like make sure that they don't overlap on time. But yes, that's what we should be doing right now. And then each one of those classes, excuse me, Sean is sharing something on the screen. So look, we're going to search for a class. Like let's try an English 101, Sean. Each one of those classes has something called a CRN number. And that's the number, like that specific code to that specific class. So that's the number that you need to like write down. So we're searching, so this R101, look at all of these. So mind you, on the left, you're gonna see this green that says open. As the days go on this registration, those you're gonna start seeing red. So this is like the clear benefit of FYE because you're getting first choice at a lot of these classes. So that means sometimes it's going to be desperate because you're going to have all red and one green. And so there you are at 8 a.m., you know, because that's the only choice. But right now we have a ton. So you're going to pick something. So this first class is Mondays and Wednesdays. That's the meeting time. You see that? It's M and W, and it's 8 a.m. to 9:50. So the cap on that class, there's 27 spots, and it seems like there's 3 spots open. And then like you see the next class below it, it says Oxnard web class. So that's an online class for the distance education program. And then, so you'll see like location, Oxnard Condor Hall 304. So you'll see like some of these are online, some of these are on the college. So you need to see what you want. And then so the CRN number is that number. Oh, and then there's like this class, it requires co-enrollment of English R101S. So that's like a support class. So if you're not wanting to take that co-enrollment class, that co-rec class, then do not sign up for that class. But so next to the green, the open, there is that, what is it, a 6-digit number? So that's the number that you need to know specifically for that class. So as you're going, I think in the presentation that they showed you, there's a link to download like a little schedule thing, or you can just get real old school and mark out 5 days on a piece of paper and start writing in, you know, English 101, put the CRN in parentheses and the time, you know, and put it on your Monday, put it on your Wednesday. So then you see that you're not, because the system's not going to let you sign up for classes that are at the same time, so that you kind of keep them straight. But this is kind of what you're doing for every class that you need to take. So your English class, your math class, if you've been recommended to start some science classes or whatever it is that you need to do, that's kind of how you go about it. So once you get all those things in order, you start putting those in your basket and checking out. And the importance of doing that now, like I'm saying, is that green right now, it's wide open, but it will close. You'll start seeing it go red. Also, friends, I just wanted to remind you, if you haven't completed your FAFSA yet, you 100% should. That is the only way that you can, either that or the DREAM Act. If you're a dreamer, that's the only way that you can qualify for the Oxnard College Promise. So the only way that you can go to have your tuition paid for free. The community college is the most affordable system in the state, but it still costs some cash money to be here. And so $46 a unit times 12 minimum, that starts adding up on top of all the books and all the things that you have to pay. So I would strongly recommend that you get that FAFSA squared away as soon as possible. Our financial aid office is incredible. And I'll put a link to them in the chat for everyone to see. But if you have any questions about your account, they are, when we're on campus, they're excellent to get a hold of, but even now they're really, really helpful. So I'll throw that in the chat link.
Laura, while we're on the topic, I just got a question about, is there a place where you can look at your holds?
Yes, if you look on your student portal, let me see, let me pull it up and then I'll share my screen with you. Are you able to see my portal?
Yes.
All right, so I'm in like a student view. So you click on register and pay. And then right here, you click on view holds. And then this is from 2011, but incomplete portal setup. So if I had a hold, oh, well, I do have this hold, but it'll tell me if there's an amount, what it affects. So it says it affects me registering for classes. So unlike you guys, I'm not available to register, but that's what it is. That's where you can see. So it'll break down, you know, what holds may be in your system. I hope that that is helpful for folks.
There was also a question on the previous workshop on paying fees. So do you have to pay fees right away?
So you're going to see that these classes have charges to them, and like you have to do a click and accept fees. It's okay, and go ahead and click it. You don't owe the fees right away. You want to make sure that you have completed your FAFSA and all of that is in line. If you have questions about that, reach out to the financial aid office. So what should happen with the Oxnard College Promise is whatever your cost of tuition, if your tuition is $100, you should see an equal $100 credit for the Oxnard College Promise. The things that you will have to pay, I think it totals like, I want to say it's like $32 or $38. I don't remember off the top of my head, but it's all like the little fees, like your student health center fee, which is really awesome, which means that you can go to the health center, do some like small blood work. If you're not feeling well, you can stop in and see them. They have some reproductive health stuff available. They're really helpful. And they have counseling available free for you, and that's all included in your health fee. Just some like state fees that we couldn't take off. So you'll end up owing like, I want to say it's like $32 or $38. Don't quote me. I don't remember off the top of my head. That, and if you want to buy a parking permit, that's like extra fees that you would have to pay. But as of today, right now, just register for the classes. You don't have to pay for anything today.